So, according to biblical scholars, Solomon's temple existed sometime from the 10th century BC and then was destroyed in approximately 586 or 87 BC. But I'm just going to put a question mark here because there's no conclusive evidence of the temple itself, apparently. And I guess the dimensions of it are pretty big, so that seems odd. And then it says the location of it is unknown, but it's believed to have been situated on the hill where the Dome of the Rock sits now. And then it says here the description of Solomon's temple in the Bible is similar to Egyptian sanctuaries. So I wonder if, because they haven't found any evidence of it in Israel, in the area called Israel now, I wonder if the Temple of Solomon is actually in Egypt somewhere, because just when I read this and it's saying, okay, the dimensions of it are similar to Egyptian sanctuaries, they can't find it in Israel, it made me think of Patrick Jarrell and his quest for the Hall of Records, the Egyptian Hall of Records, which I guess is this huge temple that's believed to be underground somewhere. I don't know, I just thought of that, so maybe the temple is actually in Egypt somewhere. Maybe that's why they haven't found it, but that's just a thought. But here's a list of some of the archaeological evidence that has been used to prove the existence of Solomon's temple. It talks about a 10th century copper production site near Jerusalem. Then it talks about an artifact dated to the 6th century BC that mentions a temple, which of course we know that the second temple was built during that time. The Cyrus's temple. And then I guess there are two more artifacts that the Israel Antiquities Authority have declared forgeries. And then there's an 8th century seal with the name of Netanyahu on it. And then I guess they've found some animal bones and pieces of ceramic bowls, the base of a juglet used to pour oil, and the rim of a storage jar at the Temple Mount. So it seems like there would be more evidence than that for a huge temple. But like I said, maybe it's somewhere else. Or maybe it's much older than previously thought. Also, it says here, right here, it says Israel was destroyed around 750 BC, about 100 years before the beast rose up. So right here was another destruction. And this is actually when most believe the lost tribes of Israel scattered. Although we know the first escape was actually back here when they left Egypt. And there have been more since then throughout the reign of the beast. It seems like there's been a pretty steady exodus out of that region throughout history. It has a high turnover rate in that area. So who knows? I mean, there's probably a completely different people living there now, maybe, than were there originally. But then it talks about the writing of the Torah here, which we know was the first stage of the Bible itself. And that was also put together during the second and third phases of the beast. So the Bible was written during the beast's reign. So maybe that's why so much of it was written in a code language, because otherwise the message wouldn't have survived to our time, because it was written during the time of the beast. And it's talking about the beast, so it has to talk about it in a code language. And then it says during the Hasmonean dynasty, which started in 160 BC, it says that's when the Pharisees ruled, which led to rabbinical Judaism, it's called. So the leaders were called rabbis at that point. And, you know, I mean, we all know what Jesus said about the Pharisees. He said they were hypocrites. He said they were snakes and vipers. And then he also said not to refer to each other as father or rabbi because we're all equal, basically. So this rise of the Pharisees seems to be part of the beast system as well. Appearing around 160 BC, which was during the end of the third phase of the beast right here. It was the end of the Hellenistic period, transitioning into the Roman Empire. And then one other thing I noticed when I was reading it, it says the rabbi assembly back then had a leader known as the Nasi, which almost it's almost the same word as Nazi. So I don't know, maybe that's just a coincidence, but it just kind of stood out to me. So we know they're part of the beast system, and it's all connected, it seems. And then Herod, the Roman appointed king of the Jews, who tried to kill Jesus when he was still a baby, Herod enlarged Cyrus's temple, making it one of the largest religious structures in the world around 37 BC, right after Rome appointed him king. So this is the guy, Herod is the guy who ordered all the boy babies in the Jewish community to be killed. The Roman appointed king who put a lot of effort into making Cyrus's temple one of the largest religious structures in the world. But we're supposed to believe that this second temple was built by the Jews. But it wasn't. It was built by the second and third head of the beast. And then it was destroyed by the fourth head of the beast during the siege of Jerusalem in 70 CE. So they restored the temple only to destroy it again. I mean, it doesn't seem to make sense until you realize that whoever is behind this is not actually putting forth the effort. I mean, they didn't build it with their own money. It was built with the taxpayers' money, so they didn't care. And that's just one level of evil. I mean, they make you pay for a temple, they make you build the temple, and then they make their soldiers destroy all your work. And all the while, they didn't feel anything. I mean, it's evil. It makes sense, but it's evil. And then this rabbinical Pharisee movement, I guess is what it's called, that made peace with Rome, in other words, who joined the beast, they're the ones who decided which books should be included or left out of the Hebrew Bible. And that wall that so many people worship, the Wailing Wall that supposedly is the only remains of Solomon's temple left, it's actually not Solomon's temple, it's the remains of the beast's temple. Because right here it says parts of the wall are remnants of the ancient wall, which refers to Solomon's temple, of which there is no evidence for. Remember, so that doesn't quite make sense. But it says just over half of the wall dates from the end of the Second Temple period, commonly believed to have been constructed around 19 BC by Herod the Great. So over half of that wall, that Wailing Wall, was built toward the end of the Second Temple period. As you can see, 516 BC to 70 CE, right here. So toward the end of that time period, around 19 BC, over half of the Western Wall was constructed by Herod, and the remaining layers were added during the Ottoman rule later. So Herod is the one who restored the second temple that was originally built during the second phase of the beast. And Herod built that wall, the western wall, around 19 BC. Right here. And then it goes into more detail here. It says the wall functions as a retaining wall built to support the extensive renovations that Herod the Great carried out around 19 BC. The first 7 visible layers are from the Herodian period, which is just a fancy way of saying Herod's reign. So that's the first 7 visible layers are from Herod's reign. And the next 4 courses date from the Muslim period in the 8th century, and then the 16 through 17 courses. It says above that there are 16 to 17 courses that date from the Muslim period in the 13th through 16th centuries later. So that's what the wall is. It's Herod's wall and the Muslim wall. I mean, this wall right here, it's Herod's wall. Over half of it was built by Herod. And remember, there's no evidence that Solomon's temple was here at all. And why is there no evidence? Because the government of Israel will not allow archaeologists to take samples from the stones there. Why? Because it's not Solomon's temple. It's Herod's wall. It's Herod's temple. That's why. And they know that. The majority of the wall was built by Herod. It's not a secret. You'd have to do just a little bit of research to find that out. It's amazing that most people don't know that because most people don't have the time to look into it. But it's right there. It's not a secret. The majority of that wall was built by Herod, and then later the Muslims added to it. So this right here is the remains of a thing that a Roman frontman built. The man who tried to kill Jesus when he was just a baby. The man who ordered the murder of all baby boys in the region. So this is the wall of the beast. And it truly is a wailing wall because it's beyond sad what they did. What the beast did. I mean, the deception. The true Israelites scattered back here for the first time, and then again here. And then the beast took over right after that and built the temple twice. I mean, Herod's temple was actually third if you count Solomon's. And the Israel that is there now, it's Rome. It's Rome's Israel. It's the daughter of Zion who is desolate, according to Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah. The daughter of Zion, born during the final phase of the beast, worshiping the wall of the beast. So, I just thought that was interesting and wanted to share it with you. That's pretty much it for now. If you want to know more, there's tons of links to other videos in the description below. Just click on show more below this video to find the other links. And I also have an ebook. The link is there as well. So thank you. Again, thank you so much to those of you that are being supportive, because you know that I can't do this without your help. And this is the truth that no one's talking about. I mean, this is not the standard doctrines that the large majority are following. But what the ancient prophets told us would happen at the end is happening now. And the main event is coming, the destruction of the beast and the final escape, the rescue. So I hope you're doing well, and I'll just leave it there for now, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye-bye.